Okay, hello friends. Now let us see what are the uh, contents of your tide tables, which are given as selected pages of eligibility tide tables for your exam purposes. So these are the selected pages of admitted tide tables from 1992, and it has 3 volumes. So we have volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3. So let's see how you will distinguish. So first page, this yellow color page is your volume 1. Then once you scroll down, you will see one more yellow color page, and this is the starting of your volume 2, you can see, with the index to standard port. And if you scroll down more, there will be one pink color page, which is your volume 3, which you can see here. And this is the way you can identify in which volume you are. And again, you have the index of standard ports here. So let's see one by one each volume. Start with volume 1. So first you have the ports. So as we discussed, that you can see in this that volume 3 is for Pacific areas, and volume 2 is for Indian Ocean region, and volume 1 is for European waters. So you will have all the standard ports list of that volume. So volume 1 के जितने भी standard ports हैं उनकी list और पेज नंबर यहाँ पे दिया होगा. So it is written clearly, it is for European waters, including Mediterranean Sea. Then some general guidelines and instruction for using the tables. What is high water, what is low water. It's a very small font, very difficult to read. Maybe if you want to read, you can zoom. So intermediate times and height. Intermediate means we have secondary port. We have standard port daily times which will be given, and whatever timings are not given, एक पेज पे हमें अभी हम देखेंगे इंटरमीडिएट टाइम्स एंड हाइट क्या होता है. फिर उसके बाद ये दिया हुआ है कि सेकेंडरी पोर्ट का अगर हमें टाइड निकालना है तो ये पूरा प्रोसीजर यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है, बट हम लोग अपना डिटेल में और डिस्कस करेंगे कैसे करना है. तो इसको हम बोलते हैं डेली प्रिडिक्शन. किसी भी पोर्ट के किसी एक दिन का, दिस इज फॉर 14 जुलाई, लो वाटर हाई वाटर लो वाटर हाई वाटर, इसको बोलते हैं डेली प्रिडिक्शन. उस दिन के लो वाटर और हाई वाटर के टाइम एंड हाइट्स को डेली प्रिडिक्शन बोलते हैं. तो ये आगे पूरी लिस्ट दी होगी. और ये एक स्टैंडर्ड पोर्ट है, प्लायमाउथ डेवनपोर्ट. और सेकेंडरी पोर्ट, सपोज यहाँ पे एग्जांपल दिया हमें कि हमें टाइड निकालनी है सेंट मैरीज की. सेंट मैरीज की टाइड निकालनी है 14 जुलाई को. सो फ्रॉम द टाइड टेबल, ये प्लायमाउथ यूरोप में होगा तो हम इसके ये डेली प्रेडिक्शन निकाल लेंगे. और फ्रॉम ATT पार्ट 2 हम इसके ये, हमने जैसे दूसरे एग्जांपल में देखा था, टाइम करेक्शन और हाइट करेक्शन निकाल लेंगे. तो उसमें ये दिया रहेगा, ये स्टैंडर्ड पोर्ट प्लायमाउथ है और सेंट मैरीज इसका सेकेंडरी पोर्ट है. इसके टाइम करेक्शन दिए हुए हैं 0 to 6 and 12 to 18. correction is -0030 and 0110 minutes. This is 30 minutes, this is 1 hour 10 minutes. Same way between, for low water the corrections are this. Zone time is all GMT. Now height difference is for 5.5 is plus 0.2, for 4.4 is minus 0.1, like this. Then seasonal corrections for this port, we have to see the port number. Port number 1 is negligible. So there is actually no seasonal correction. And there is a tidal prediction form. How do we take out? So time required is PM, secondary port is port 14 on 14 July. So standard port, we write the high water and low water timings and high water, low water height and the range. And seasonal change is, we saw is 0. So we find the corrections from here. For the time, we interpolate for 2149. We already saw how do we interpolate from here. And height difference, we will interpolate from here. So time difference we apply here, we get the time. Height difference we apply here, we get the height, and we apply the seasonal correction for the secondary port also. This was seasonal correction for standard port. This is seasonal correction for secondary port. And we get the times and height at secondary port, and that this is what is the daily prediction of secondary port. So we started with daily prediction of standard port Plymouth, and from this we got the daily prediction of secondary port, which is your St. Mary's. Then let's see what else we have here. We have secondary port interpolation, how you can do interpolation or extrapolation. That also we will see again. Then this is the procedure given for finding the tide at standard port, which we have seen. It's on page number 10. So you want to find the tide for Ullapool. So daily tide time is given. So at 4:20, the tide is 4.6 and 10:33 is 1.6. So 4.6, you make an point here and 1.6, we make a point here. So suppose you want to calculate the tide 2.5 hours to 20 hours after the high water. You have to calculate at 1900 and 1641 and 2300 the tide is given. So if you subtract 1641 from 1900, you will get 2 hours 19 minutes. So if you want to calculate the height of 2 hours 90 minutes, and you can see the tide is falling, so we will use the graph from this side and rough hand will calculate this tide range is around 4.6 minus 1.2, that is 2.4. So we will use approximately in between these two, and we will, for 2 hours 90 minutes, we'll go here and then we'll go here and we'll see wherever it cuts. This is around 3.7 will be our height of tide at 1900. So this way we can take out for intermediate time for standard port. So we saw this procedure. Then we are given intermediate height and tide for Milford Haven. You can see this, and different graphs are mentioned here. Then we are given the use of simple harmonic method. This is a full table in the steps. So we have a separate Excel sheet. We will solve in that, and later on I will show you this method also, and you can compare. So there are many, around 40 steps, but many steps here they are saying we can skip. So we will see a shortcut method for this. Then all the details are given for how to do the simple harmonic method here. Then you have some supplementary tables in volume 1. Table 1 is conversion table, no use. Table 2 is no use. Table 3 gives the chart datum of all the ports. For us also, it's mostly no use. Then you have table 7. Table 7 is tidal angles and factor, which we will use in SHM. We will see for each, for full volume is given here. These are M2, S2, M1, and O1. Then you have table 8, astronomical arguments. This is what is astronomical arguments. This also we will use rarely. Then there are different standard ports, and as I told you, for each standard port there is a separate graph in volume 1. So we are still in volume 1. This is Dover. This is a graph for only Dover, and this is a daily prediction of Dover. So your tide tables are only for 4 months: January, February, March, April, and this is daily. So this for 1st January, the tide of Dover is 0303, 1.9, 0813, 5.7, like this. All the tides are given. Some places you see there are tides for, you can maybe for 3 times or 5 times. These are called mixed tides. And this black dot is your new moon, and this white dot is your full moon. Then different ports, all graphs are given. So you see these graphs like this with dotted line and solid line. This is only in volume 1. Volume 2, you will have different types of graphs, which you will see now. Then these are after the daily prediction. What you have, this is called traditional tables. So this is called traditional tables, where you have the standard port, which is in bold, and then all these ports in this column above this line are, these are all secondary ports for which the standard port is here. Shoreham, all this. So the time zone of these ports is given here. Then the time difference and height correction is given. Some places lat long is given, and mean sea level is given. So we will see later on what is the use of this mean sea level. And some places you can see data is not given. So we'll go and see more traditional tables. Then you have harmonic constants, which is called part 3. So at the end of volume 1, there is part 3, which is harmonic constant. And this is a table with harmonic constants. Again, you have list and number of all the ports. You can see it's almost serial wise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you are knowing about the number of the port, you can search by this numbers, numerical order. Then you have mean sea level, then you have gravity, and H is amplitude for M1, M2, then S2, G and HM, K2, G and HM, and O2, G and HM, gravity and amplitude. Then you have F4 and F4, which are called shallow water corrections for semi-diurnal and diurnal tides. So all this we'll see what it is and where to use in our simple harmonic. Then at the bottom of this simple harmonics also and other traditional table also, we will have some seasonal correction. So this is the, you can see seasonal changes in mean sea level for harmonic constant. So as per the port number, this port number 1 to 60, seasonal corrections are this or negligible. And for different ports, data of M2, S2 is given. If it is not given here, but like here it's not given, so you can check from here. So this was harmonic constant, and this part 3a index is there. Then at the end of volume 1 also, we have index of each port with the numbers of the port, alphabetical order. So you can search the ports here. If you don't find the port by first name, you can search the port by second name, like Puerto Rico. So Puerto means port, but the name of the port is Rico. So that you will find in R. So you can search by the second name if you don't find the first name. This is geographical index. Then you have volume 2. So standard list of ports of volume 2 standard ports. Then this is the graph, which is for volume 2, all the ports. There is only one graph which we use for all the ports of volume 2. So you can see it's 5 hours, 6 hours, and 7 hours. The tide is rising. You can see this is a rising tide, it's a falling tide, flood and ebb. This is a high water. We will mark the high water time here, and every hour plus time here and minus time here. We'll use, if the tide is below 7 meters, in both the cases, high water is below 7 meters, we'll use the inner scale here and here. And suppose tide is 5 meter and here it is 1 meter, we will join this. Then we'll see the tide range and rising tide. Tide range is 530 and rising tide is here. We'll draw a freehand curve. We want to find a time 1 hour before high water. So we'll draw arc here. We'll join wherever it is joining the curve. Then we will join this curve and we will see wherever it is cutting, we'll find that will be the height of the tide. So we'll continue with contents of now let's continue volume 2. So graph, then again shallow water corrections, table 6 for each port is given separately. And we are given X number of days of spring. So some cases we will use this. If it is not, shallow water correction is not given there, we can use from here, that we will see later on. And again, table 7, angles and factors. So if your port is in volume 2, you will use table 7 from volume 2, not from same table. It may be same, but we will use from here. Then daily prediction for the ports of volume 2. You can see you have Indian ports, as we saw, Indian Ocean, Bombay, Bhavnagar, Meena, Alhandi, Iran. Then again, daily predictions, same like volume 1, but for ports of Indian Ocean. Then you have harmonic constants for volume 2 ports and geographical index again. Then volume 3 again, same tables, daily predictions, daily prediction tables, traditional tables, and then harmonic constants. So these are last is geographical index. These are your contents of your Hermite tide tables.